Good morning, hockey fans. This is Stephen Heisler with HeisHockey.com, the Victorious Hockey Company, and the Junior Hockey Discussion Group on Facebook. You are watching the Junior Hockey Morning Show. We are on the World Sports Broadcasting Network, WSBN.TV, Facebook, X, YouTube. Today, wherever you are, hope that you are enjoying your morning coffee, enjoying your morning. Maybe you're in the afternoon watching from your office, wherever you are. Hope that you are enjoying the off-season, last really weekend of the real off-season. All hell breaks loose this time next week. And we're off to the races. Today's show, if you watched or read the HeisHockey.com article for this morning, you know I'm hot as a firecracker, like 3 days in a row. Why would hockey coaches tell players to drop advisors? I want to scroll down on my computer so I can see. I want to make sure I get this right today. So, got an email yesterday. A parent, we've been talking to you for a few weeks about advisory services for his son. And the son proceeds to tell the father that coaches are telling these kids that if you have advisors, drop them. I have to wonder why would an advisor suggest that he doesn't want play? Why would a coach suggest that he doesn't want players with advisors? This happened years ago as well, when the Colorado Eagles were part of the USPHL Premier program under current Colorado Grit head coach Steve Haddon. He would actually told one of our clients to drop us as a company because he didn't like players with advisors. He didn't want to talk ever to advisors. When the Colorado Grit were announced last year, I knew this was one of Steve's problems with advisors. So I told a few other advisors what he had done before. And soon enough, they were all informed by the same situation that this guy talks crap about advisors all the time. So it was easy for me to understand going into last year that the Colorado Grit were not going to be a very good hockey team. I think they won 12 of 60 games, end up in last place behind a team that doesn't even have a practice rink to skate in. You have to travel out of town to practice. That'd be the ice rinks. So let's go through the top 10 reasons a coach would only be interested in players without advisors. I'm actually going to read this morning. I've been trying to avoid reading things for you for the last few months, but I'm going to read this to you line by line. One by one. Number one, players without advisors are easily manipulated. Absolutely. It's easy to tell a kid something if he doesn't have any another opinion of where he's at. Some coaches don't like the idea that the player might have an opinion to bounce off somebody else. Number two, players without advisors will easily fall for the bait and switch. Happens every year. You get asked to play for one team, and all of a sudden you find yourself on another. That happens in Canada, and happens here in the United States. Players without advisors will be less likely to understand the ramifications of changes within the NCAA landscape. It's easy to bring a kid into a program saying, hey, we're going to get you to NCAA Division III hockey. When the reality is that's probably not going to happen anymore. That might have worked 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago. But the tide that waves on the horizon, we can see it. So if you are 2005 this year playing in one of these teams that are making that promise to you, he's not giving you the whole picture because he knows what's happening. Number 4, Tommy, am I right? 4, mm-hmm. Players without advisors will not question the difference between spoken and actually written promises. Coach can tell you everything that you want to hear. He can whisper in your ear about sweet roses and honeysuckle and all these things that he's going to do for you once you play for his team. But unless it's written in the contract, that's all hogwash. Rarely are spoken promises made true. Next, players without advisors are less likely to actually read the player agreement. God only knows why you wouldn't read the whole agreement. But if you're playing on a pay-to-play hockey team and you don't read the agreement from A to Z, every word, you probably are making a big mistake. If you happen to sign with one of these teams that are non-sanctioned and they promise you that you're going to play on this team, and before you realize it, they have 50 kids protected. Well, 50 kids aren't staying on that team. They'll be off to a lower level team or sold off to a lower level team. And your contract may say that you have to pay for that, no matter what the cost is. Next, players without advisors are less likely to comprehend that the coach will get paid by the different team he is recommending you move and sign with. Happens all the time. Hey, Johnny, if you send me your cuts, I'll give you $2,500 a kit. Happens every day. We see it every single season. Players with good advisors are generally focused more on the big picture instead of short-term carrots. Don't dangle the carrot of, hey, if you do this, I'll be playing the power play the next 2 games. If you be quiet and don't cry, don't whine about being a healthy scratch, I'm going to play you against one of the lesser teams that be on the power play. Don't take those carrots. You need to play. You need to play a regular shift and win your opportunities, earn your opportunities. You don't need mercy shifts. You need to play a relative game and be relative to your team or move to a different team. Pretty easy. If he's healthy scratching you 1 out of every 2 games, you're probably in the wrong team. No, you are with the wrong team, period. Players with reputable advisors generally have confidence in their ability and are less likely to be victim of mind games. Mind games are often played. Teams go into the Christmas break. Hey, you're my guy, you're my guy, you're my guy. You come back after Christmas, and there's 2 or 3 more players at your same position on the practice ice. That's the way it is. Happens. There's no stall earned until the trade deadline and roster freeze. Get that through your heads. That stall is not yours. You have to win and earn that stall every single day, every single practice, every single game. Don't take it for granted. See, players with valued advisors understand the difference between fantasy and reality. This is a big one. A lot of kids will hear the fluff and take it as the gospel, especially at the prep schools. Go ahead and do this overage year, or you skip a year, or come back for a 5th year, and you'll be on my number 1 team at $70,000. My kids aren't falling for that. That's not going to happen. That's a fantasy. Come to this team, and next year you'll be playing on our NZDC team. To pay $15,000 this year. That's a fantasy. That's not reality. There's no promise of that. So don't get sucked into that. Players with real advisors are well aware of other options. This is probably the biggest reason coaches don't want players, or if any coach doesn't want players with an advisor. They don't want you to have other options. They don't want you to know about other options. And they certainly don't want to hear from the advisor that tells him if he doesn't take care of his client, does not treat him properly, stay within standards, that as an advisor, I'm going to suggest that he does go somewhere else. No, he's not tolerating 8 kids in one billet house. No, he's not paying $1,500 for a house and doesn't include food. Are you kidding me? No, I'm going to say something about a team not wanting to pay for food on the road for a tier 2 team. That's ridiculous. This plain ridiculous. You can go into the preseason armed with the information needed to make informed decisions as a player. Or you can try your luck jumping into the fray alone. Listen, a lot of kids we talked about today, and we're hearing about in our group, paying 5 figures to play on junior teams, would have saved a lot of money by going with a good advisor. I don't have a single skater out there paying more than $9,000. Definitely not $12,000. Most are paying about between $5,000 and $7,000, just the way it is. So if you're paying a lot more than that, you probably needed a better advisor. All right, that's it for today. Hope that you enjoy your morning coffee and have a great day in hockey.